The restart is the first thing in our mind. We know it directly interrelates with what we're learning about this virus and its presence in our city and those indicators. We're going to constantly talk about where we stand each day, what kind of element of restart we can think about now, what we have to think about later. Remember, when you think about restart, think about those indicators going down. Let us pray, always going down. And then think about the testing and tracing that we talked about a few days ago, that really widespread effort to test as many New Yorkers as possible, trace their contacts when needed, isolate people who need isolating. Those strands need to come together, and we're preparing for them to come together in the first 2 weeks of May so that we can really go on the offensive. But again, the healthcare indicators have to give us that all clear so we can start that effort. And we need the supply of testing, which is still a big open question here, to pull those pieces together. Okay, let's start with the question of when we restart. We restart when we have evidence. Look, we see some states around the country rushing to restart their economies. I'm worried for them. I'm worried for their people. Some seem to be paying attention to healthcare indicators more than others. Anybody, any state, any city that doesn't pay attention to those factual healthcare indicators, that evidence, is running a risk, is endangering their own people. And their whole idea of wanting to rush a restart so we can have an economy again and recover, it could all backfire because the disease reasserts. You're delaying potentially by a long time when you could have that kind of recovery. We won't let that happen here. We will focus first and foremost on the health and safety of New Yorkers, protecting our healthcare system so it can be there for all of us, making our moves when the indicators tell us, and then making them piece by piece, testing to see how they're working, making sure that each step we take is a strong foothold before we take the next step. So that's the when. How? How do we restart? There's so many open questions, and the people we're going to bring together are going to help us answer them with their powerful perspective on the life of the city and the different parts of the city they come from, the different industries, et cetera. They're going to bring perspective so we can get these decisions right. So here are kinds of questions that we all have to ask. And again, some of these will be things we do earlier, some of these will be things we do later, but here are obvious everyday questions. How do you reopen a restaurant and still do it in a way that protects the customers and protects the people that work there? How do you do that right? What kind of protection will people need? What kind of PPEs will people need to wear in a lot of different parts of the city, a lot of different work that they do to make sure they're safe? When will they need more? When will they need less? We've got to start to fill in those blanks.